Imagine this. It's a cold February night in 1978. The wind howls through the snow-covered mountains of Northern California. A car winds up a lonely road, carrying 5 friends who never should have been there. Hours later, their car is found abandoned, deep in the wilderness, miles away from where they were supposed to be. Days turn into weeks. Then months. When search teams finally make a discovery, it's far worse than anyone could have imagined. 4 bodies are found. One of them, horrifyingly, starved to death inside a cabin, despite there being enough food to survive. And the 5th man? He was never found. This is the chilling, unsolved mystery of the Yuba County 5, a case that has left investigators and armchair detectives puzzled for nearly 50 years. What drove these 5 young men deep into the mountains that night? Why didn't they turn back when things got dangerous? And what really happened to Gary Mathias? Let's dive deep into one of the most haunting true crime mysteries in American history. To understand the strangeness of this case, we need to first know who these men were. The 5 friends were from Yuba City, California, a quiet, working-class area. They weren't just friends, they were like family. First, there was Bill Sterling, 29 years old. Then Jack Hewitt, 24, and Jack Madruga, 30, who was also the proud owner of the car they'd been driving that night. Ted Weiher, 32, was known for his kind heart and infectious smile. And then there was Gary Mathias, 25, a U.S. Army veteran. Gary had been diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, but with treatment and medication, he was managing it well and living a stable life. These 5 young men all shared something special, a deep love for sports. Despite the fact that 4 of them lived with intellectual disabilities and Gary faced mental health challenges, they had built a strong bond through their shared passion. They weren't troublemakers. They weren't risk-takers. They bowled together. They went to dances. And most of all, they played basketball. In fact, on the night they disappeared, the group had been looking forward to something they were truly excited about, a basketball tournament the next day. If they won, they would have qualified for the Special Olympics. So how did a group of sports-loving friends, just trying to enjoy a night out, end up in the middle of nowhere, lost in the mountains? It was February 24, 1978. The Yuba County 5 decided to take a little road trip to watch a basketball game at California State University in Chico, about 50 miles from home. They piled into Jack Madruga's car, a turquoise and white 1969 Mercury Montego. The game ended around 10 p.m., and the boys stopped at a convenience store on their way back to grab snacks, milk, soft drinks, and some candy bars. A typical move for a group of friends enjoying a night out. But this would be the last confirmed sighting of them alive. They should have driven straight home. It was late, and they had that big tournament the next day. But instead, something happened. Their car didn't head south toward Yuba City, it turned northeast. Hours later, their vehicle was discovered abandoned on a lonely, snow-covered mountain road, deep within the Plumas National Forest, over 70 miles from where they were supposed to be. But here's where things get really strange. The car wasn't stuck. It wasn't broken down. In fact, there was enough gas in the tank to drive it back down the mountain. So why had they left the car behind? When the 5 friends didn't come home, their families were immediately concerned. They knew something was wrong. These boys wouldn't just disappear, especially not on the night before their basketball tournament. The police launched a search, but the rough, snowy terrain made it nearly impossible. Days passed with no sign of the group. The search intensified, but days turned into weeks with no leads. It was like they had vanished into thin air. It wasn't until the snow melted in June, 4 months later, that the nightmare truly revealed itself. A group of motorcyclists stumbled upon a remote U.S. Forest Service trailer, nearly 20 miles from where the car had been found. Inside was the body of Ted Weiher. Ted was found lying on a bed, wrapped in sheets, as if someone had tried to keep warm. But here's what chilled investigators to the bone: there were food supplies in the cabin, enough to survive. Canned meals, freeze-dried rations, all untouched. Ted had starved to death, slowly, over weeks. His beard had grown long, suggesting he had survived for nearly 2 months after disappearing. Nearby, the bodies of Bill Sterling and Jack Madruga were found scattered in the forest, frozen and partially eaten by animals. Jack Hewitt's remains were also found later, his body hidden in thick underbrush. But one man was still missing, Gary Mathias. Gary's shoes were found inside the cabin, suggesting that he had been there, too. But his body was never found. Why would Gary leave his shoes behind in freezing temperatures? And where did he go? Some theories suggest Gary may have left the cabin to get help. Others wonder if his schizophrenia could have played a role. But there's no solid evidence, just haunting questions. If Gary survived longer than the others, could he still be out there? Over the years, dozens of theories have emerged. One theory suggests the group might have been chased, maybe they were fleeing from someone. But no signs of foul play were ever found. Another theory? They simply got lost. But how? Jack Madruga was known for his strong sense of direction and would never have willingly driven into the mountains. And then, there's the darker theory. Some believe Gary Mathias, due to his mental health struggles, may have experienced a psychotic episode, possibly leading the group into the wilderness. But Gary had been stable for years. His doctors were confident in his progress. Was there something, or someone, else out there that night? The story of the Yuba County Five is more than just a mystery, it's a heartbreaking tale of 5 young men whose lives were cut short in the most tragic and confusing way possible. Their families never got the answers they deserved. And perhaps, that's the most terrifying part of this story, sometimes, the truth is buried deeper than we can imagine. What do you think happened to the Yuba County Five? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're drawn to chilling true crime mysteries like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more stories that will keep you up at night. Until next time, stay curious, and stay safe.